Folks, The Marvels is by far the dumbest superhero movie I've ever seen. I wonder if the director knew it's bad but had to release it anyway because they've already spent almost $280 million for reshoots and delays on this generic, unimaginative, and predictable absolute waste of time. Now, the first Captain Marvel was accused of having this modern feminist agenda, so the assumption is that there'd be 3 times the amount of such on this one. But that's not why this movie failed. I came into this movie open-minded, willing to ignore any political messaging, and just focus on things that make a good movie: character development, plot, and spectacle. Unfortunately, The Marvels failed on all 3. It starts with a villain who finds a bracelet that has godlike powers. However, it won't be as godlike without the other pair that belongs to Kamala. And so, Carol Danvers and Monica Rambeau dedicate their lives in protecting Kamala and the bracelet. This plot has been done to death. In Shang-Chi, it's the 10 rings. In Infinity War, it's the Infinity Stones. Well, recycled plots can be amazing if they add something new to it. Well, the Marvels did add something new. When our 3 heroes use their powers simultaneously, they switch bodies. That was exciting for 5 minutes until it became a repetitive circus act. The director's intention was to create a way for our heroes to work together, work through their differences, and accomplish a common goal. But as good as the intention may be, that's where this movie failed in something even more important than plot: character development. And character development is simple. Who are our characters and why should I care what happens to them? Let's start with Carol Danvers. The last time I saw her, she flew into Thanos' biggest spaceship in Avengers Endgame and ended the movie. Had she done this right away in the Marvels, no innocent people would have died and the movie would have ended in 5 minutes. She did it once though with a smaller spaceship, then somehow forgot she could do that with the biggest spaceship in the end. The point is, her invincibility gave away the tension, and I never felt danger in any of the action. Now, with invincible superheroes like Superman, there's usually a kryptonite moment. Even though we know he's not gonna die, this gives an opportunity for the hero to change. Like in Black Adam, our hero willingly gives up his power because he felt unworthy. Then he had a moment of clarity before rising up and vanquishing the enemy. Unfortunately, there's nothing like this for Carol Danvers. Nothing happened that changed her life or changed how she viewed herself as a person, which means the movie had no emotion. In the first Captain Marvel, she did have that moment of defeat and clarity. It wasn't the greatest ending, but at least there's some kind of heart when she realized that when life keeps kicking you down, you keep getting up. When you come out of the theater feeling something like self-forgiveness in Black Adam and resilience in Captain Marvel, you talk about it with your friends. That's why Captain Marvel made over $1 billion and this new one won't even see a quarter of that profit, making only $70 million on its opening weekend. The Marvels tries to be silly and funny like Thor Ragnarok, but Brie Larson is not funny, and director Nia Acosta is not Taika Waititi. Brie Larson is a great drama actress, but her comedic timing is awkward. It's painful seeing her embarrass herself with punchlines that don't land. It was cringy. Now let's talk about Monica Rambeau, the daughter of Carol Danvers' best friend. When her mother died, Aunt Carol wasn't there for her, and so she needs to forgive Aunt Carol so they can work together and defeat the bad guys. This theme of unforgiveness is supposed to be the main emotional arc, but something went wrong with the execution, and I never felt any of it. Had they shown little Monica living in an orphanage or in the streets, I would have cared more. Instead, we only know her as this now brilliant and successful astronaut. She talks about how hard her life was, and that should be enough for me to feel sorry for her. Sorry, that's not how it works. I won't feel bad for a character just because you told me to. In comparison, this unforgiveness trope was executed well in Armageddon. So the story was Bruce Willis couldn't forgive Ben Affleck for secretly dating her daughter. But in the end, Bruce Willis sacrificed himself and gives Ben Affleck the blessing to marry her daughter. Though how flawed that movie was, at least I felt something. But in the Marvels, there wasn't enough screen time spent on developing the conflict between Monica and Carol's broken relationship, let alone a satisfying resolution. Yes, there were scenes of them working out their differences, but most scenes were them explaining string theory and quantum physics to impress the audience. Kamala and her family were the only thing good about this movie and kept me from walking out. Iman Vellani plays this adorable amateur superhero obsessed with Captain Marvel. She couldn't contain herself and it's funny. Iman Vellani is not the greatest actress, but her charming personality makes it hard to dislike her. The banter between Kamala and her family were the only things I looked forward to and remembered from the movie, honestly. Lastly, there's Nick Fury, who wasn't given anything to do. I've never seen Samuel L. Jackson this uninteresting on screen. I wouldn't be surprised if he would ask producer Kevin Feige to just kill his character after this. His character was written in a way that says, we don't really need you anymore. You're just a prop now, like Michael Douglas in Ant-Man 3. The biggest flaw is the lack of moments of defeat. I never felt Kamala's family was in danger because they cracked jokes in the most dire of situations. A generic plot point would have been Kamala sacrificing herself to save her family, but even that didn't happen. And you don't have to kill her. You could bring her back to life in the next scene and consider it as it's the thought that counts. This idea of strong female characters being invincible isn't compelling at all. In comparison, a strong female character is Scarlet Witch in Doctor Strange. In the end, when she realized that what she had become wasn't what her children wanted her to be, her decision to give up her invincibility for the good of many made her a true strong female character. With a recycled plot and zero character development, this movie relies on spectacle to keep the audience's attention. But the action is generic and the CG is ordinary. When will Marvel learn that spectacle doesn't work without good story? If you want to learn about quantum physics and string theory, then this movie is for you. Why does it feel like Marvel is deliberately making bad movies nowadays? I don't understand how their quality has come this low. There's really no point in making this movie as it adds nothing to the superhero genre. If anything, it just made me hate the genre for wasting my time. A lazy and thoughtless compilation of every trope we are tired of seeing. Thanks for watching.